Hello, everyone. Welcome to day 3 of our School Librarian Appreciation Group. I'm Colette J. from Mrs. J in the Library and Librarians Teach.
And I'm Carrie White from Library Learners and Librarians Teach.
Today, our very special guest is joining us from Read-a-thon with some great information on how Read-a-thon can help you raise funds and raise money for your library and also encourage reading at the same time. Just like the other videos, be sure to listen for the secret word, our code word, to get an extra entry in the prize giveaway. And also, if you have any questions as we're making this video live, or if you're watching it in the replay, you can put the questions in the comments and we will make sure to ask them or answer them after the fact.
Exactly. So welcome, librarian friends, and welcome to our special guest, Stephanie Davern, Vice President of Sales and Marketing for Read-a-thon. We're so glad you joined us, Stephanie, and we would love to hear from you about how Read-a-thon can help school libraries.
Oh, thank you, Carrie and Colette. I am excited to be here. Love education, love reading. My children, I think, will tell you that they get sick of me telling everybody about books, even as they're older. If I'm sitting on a plane or wherever, I'm always talking about books. So Read-a-thon is a really great option for schools, all schools, which I think is a really important point to bring up, for them to encourage reading. So kids receive donations, they're encouraged to read X number of minutes, and then the school benefits by raising all of those precious funds that you can use for anything, be it building library resources, if you had a focus on a playground that you needed or some outdoor space. It can be used for anything because the funds are paid to the school in cash. So very simple to do, no volunteers needed, which I always think is a
Yay!
It's always like the big thing I always talk about right away. There's no volunteers needed. And it can actually be set up, and you can set it up in about 10 minutes time. You can host it. I always say give it a few weeks before, but you could, if you were really on a time crunch, you could do it just 1 week before. And it's really a great option to do any time of the year. So it doesn't have to follow that traditional fundraising schedule that you would normally have, because you could do it around, I Love to Read Month, the Read Across America. You could do it, in the fall when you traditionally would host a book fair, or in the spring when you are having that cookie dough that you're normally selling. So it's a really great way, and every child can be involved in it, which is very nice. Whether they're raising funds for the school or not, every child can be involved. A great option.
Did you have any other ways to show us the process a bit?
Yeah, so
and I know part of that is what resources you provide for librarians, right?
Absolutely. So I am going to just kind of point out a couple things, because this is actually fun. So at the top, you'll see that nice little rat. His name is Colby. He is one of our mascots. We have Colby, Jack, and Bree.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so you'll see them pop up periodically in all of your resources that you get. I'm very excited. For me, again, being passionate about reading, we have over 2 billion minutes that have been read by students.
Wow.
That's something that I think is really exciting to think about these days. I know, 2 billion. And schools have raised a ton of money. And in fact, the average school ends up raising about $10,000 that goes back to the school.
That's huge.
That's incredible.
It is huge.
I never had a fundraiser for the library that made that much, ever.
I know. I was always excited when it'd be like, here is your $2,000 that you can go use to buy books. Yeah, this is because you get 80% of the money back to you that's raised directly to the school. And so this is a couple things that I always like to say is most people will host it for about 2 weeks. We want to make sure kids have that time to read. I don't necessarily encourage people doing it over a holiday break, because kids they want that time for themselves. You can host it anyway. So we have virtual, hybrid, in person. You can have it anywhere. Again, no volunteers. and then 80%. And we actually have prizes too. So you can do the 80%, but let's say you want to do prizes for the students. You can actually, we have a whole reward store that has everything from books to those non-book items to electronics that kids can do. And they would actually get 15% of what they raise in their donations to spend there. And then the school still gets 75%. We also
That's still good. That's a good percentage, I gotta say.
Yeah,
For
yeah.
offering prizes if you want to.
Exactly. If you want something, and it normally boosts your fundraising about 25%. So it is a big boost when you have prizes. A lot of schools though will do the 80% and they'll do that what they call their instant rewards, where they will host and have lunch with the principal, or a day of no uniform if they're a uniform school, or an ice cream party that they pay for and host. So it's a really great way if you want to do those alone. We still print all the certificates for you at no charge, but they can still do it. And I'm not going to go through all of this on what the benefits are, but I do want to just kind of highlight, you have a dashboard, you can track all the dollars earned, you can track all of the minutes read, you can break it down by class and even by student, which to me is a really a big plus for both administrators and teachers. So if you're wanting to include that as part of your reading curriculum, a teacher can actually log classroom minutes and it'll divide out for all of the students.
Wow.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, and they can log
a lot there.
What?
It looks like a lot there. Like looking at that dashboard, you can kind of see there's a lot of, we hate to use the word data, but
yeah, there is.
There's a lot of things you can feed your administrator and say, hi, look here, we found some data for you. You know, hand it off to them in an email and to show the value of this.
Absolutely. And you can get reports broken down all the way through that too. So if there's school goals for reading, or if you are a title school and there is a certain amount of resources that you can commit, if kids are reading a certain amount of time or focused on that, you can use this data for that. And they can log at home too, which is really nice with their family.
Awesome.
And that was one of the points that I always think is important is I was bringing up, I feel like it's a really nice, equitable and fair and inclusive type of a fundraiser. So even if a student raises no money, they can still be a participant, which is really important to me. They can read and they can go towards their class goal and their individual goal. It isn't about raising the money for them. We really want to encourage kids to read. And the bonus is you get money, right? The school gets money. Yeah. So, and when we talk about resources, one of the, or what we provide is, so you go on and you register and you set your dates, you choose if you want the reward store or not. And then we print, you actually send us your teacher and student list. We do all of that and input that all ourselves. So you don't have to have that on you. We print out every flyer, every reading log, every reminder sheet, all of your posters, and we separate everything by class. So all you have to do as a librarian is throw them in the mailbox.
That's incredible.
No counting flyers anymore. So it's a really nice way. We also have all of the emails that you would send out to families. All of those templates are created for you. If you are wanting community involvement and you have local businesses that might want to donate, you get to keep those funds. And we will actually include their logo and we will print their logo on all of the items. And so we have information on how you could do that also.
I know we were talking before we hopped on live here, Stephanie, that that sort of reminded me that kind of business sponsorship. That's something libraries, I think, don't often do, which is a shame because I think there's good fundraising in that. But that's like how a sports booster club or something would have a banner at a game or something, or sponsor the announcer booth and have their business logo on something, you know, that a lot of people see in the community. And this is a great way to sort of partner with businesses to offer some, you know, advertising for them, a local business at that, and still sort of help support you as well, support the reading program.
Absolutely. And we have Read-a-thon. We also have what we call Love My Library. So if you have a really heavy focus on wanting to build your library versus those general funds, The Love My Library platform, which is a similar model as where kids raise their money. They create their own digital bookshelf with their family at home of the books that they want to include on their bookshelf. And they get to keep 50% of what they raise in their donations to help build their home library. So they would go on and they would click at the end of it, and they get to buy those books. So they get that really exciting moment of purchasing books, and they're sent to the school. And the librarian gets the other 50%. So 100% of all those donations go back to the school. The librarian gets the other 50%, and they can either take that in cash, or we're really excited because we'll be working with Baker and Taylor now, and they will be able to get shelf-ready library books. So if they want to do that through Baker and Taylor.
And I also want to mention here for perhaps new librarians that maybe haven't started your budget process yet or ordering process. Baker and Taylor is one of the larger vendors of library processed materials, library processed books that already come with the stickers, spine stickers, barcode labels, whatever else you tell them to put on. And the beauty of that, we said when I had book fair fundraisers before, I would get things off the book fair, and then they had to sit for a few weeks till I got to them, till I put a Mylar over the dust jacket, till I got a sticker printed up for it, till I cataloged them.
Which is always a tedious or laborious job. It never is fun. We've all done that.
Yeah. So it's faster. It's a easier and faster way of getting books in the hands of students. They're ready to circulate right away.
Absolutely. And so both options are obviously different, right? One is encouraging that in-school reading more, and one is really trying to build those at-home and school libraries. I think what's nice about it all, especially in today's environment, there's a lot of controversy out there and a lot of discussion in this new environment around appropriate or not appropriate books. And I feel like personally, my own personal opinion is librarian and teachers' jobs just got harder, right? Like it is, you're already navigating in the library or as a media specialist, making sure that kids are choosing an age appropriate book and a just right book for their reading level. And now we have the additional onus of, if you host an in-school book fair, now you've got all these books and you're trying to manage that. So this takes that off. Both of these options take that onus off of the librarian or the coordinator or the teacher and says, let's put the focus back on reading. And then let's let the families decide at home what books they feel are appropriate for their own family and their child. So it's a really nice way, again, to be all-inclusive. Regardless, every school can do it. We have schools that go on and just log their minutes and they don't raise $1. We want them to know you can use us. We are here as a resource and as an option for if you want to do a fundraiser.
Can you show us a little more about, I'm not sure if you have a slide or not, but what it looks like from the reader's perspective? Is that what we're looking at right now?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Carrie. So this is the reader dashboard. There's also a mobile friendly dashboard for them, so they can go on and do it that way. From this reader dashboard, they would go in and they would put their name in. They can enter their minutes. And again, there's a mobile friendly one. You can see there's 2 different tabs here where they can look at their donations. We actually highlight minutes read first because that's what our focus we want it to be on, is making sure they see that success that they've already had. And then they have different take-home materials where they can print things out. They can send text messages to friends and family that's personalized saying, hey, guess what I'm doing? I'm participating in this. They can also do emails or share it on Facebook. And those all are parent, obviously supported. So it is, again, the onus is not on the librarian or the teacher to have to do that. It is back on the family. And it is password protected. It is COPA compliant, PCI safe. We do all of the processing also for all of the donations coming in. So for districts that aren't able to have a staff member processing transactions, we do all of that. So you don't have to worry about that either. So this is just what a dashboard would look like for the student. And then there's a whole bunch of things at the top. They can even get fun reports of their own. They can look at rewards that they could get. They can see that at any time on what that reward store would look like. So they can have their wish list in mind of what
scope it out.
exactly. So yeah, this is theirs. And then again, this is what the general dashboard looks like. And it goes through kind of a checklist. We have tips and tricks that we send out every day if you are wanting that, of ways to encourage reading, ways to encourage additional donations, how to make it a really successful event. I think the main thing is everybody, again, I keep going back to everybody can participate, everybody can have fun. It doesn't matter what area of the country you are in, what socioeconomic situation you are in. This is a fundraiser for everybody, which I think we're lacking a lot these days in the world.
Yeah, we did have, that was one of our questions, is like how to keep this equitable. I did want to just comment really quickly. You said about sharing on Facebook and things like that, which is obviously going to be the parents, because let's face it, the kids are not on Facebook. So, but I do think for maybe if you used to have book fairs, and whether you're allowed to have them or not, you know, if you had a core group of maybe like 2 or 3 volunteers that, you know, were on the book fair committee with your parent organization or something, a really great way to keep them involved and keep them engaged would be to say, hey, can you share this out onto the Facebook page? Like, put them in charge of the social media or the sharing or the text messages. To
Absolutely.
on the parent newsletter, you know, if you have volunteers that still want to be doing something and supporting you that way, then those are tasks that can be taken off your plate.
Absolutely. And you can also do, some schools will do the big thermometer. Where are we to our goal? And, you know, the big exploding thermometer. Some will do like, they'll put a whiteboard or on their computer screens, you know, if you have the shared screens around the school, every morning a volunteer, if you want, can come in because it's real time. You can download all that information and they can have the top classrooms that have read and the top classrooms that have donated. And there can be a daily incentive, like you get 5 minutes extra recess time if you're those top classes. So lots of great ways. We actually have over 100 different in-school type of rewards you can do that don't cost anything or cost very little. So you can encourage that kind of spirited competitiveness, because there is always the one child in each class. I was probably it. I'm going to beat everybody. So it is it. And one other thing I do want to mention, just because you'll see on this one, like Adria, her picture is at the top. We actually have a live, real person that works with you through the entire read-a-thon, before and after. You have one dedicated person. You can call them, like actually talk to a person.
That's
You
lovely.
can email them. You can Zoom or Ring Central or Google Meet them. And so they are there for you. They are the ones that are doing all the inputting of your teachers and students. So they know your school really intimately, which I think is important, especially in today's world where if I spend another day pushing a number going, okay, here's a live chat, and it's really not on my phone. So yeah, so it's a nice, to me, it's a nice added or a value add for having that personalized individual that's working with you. And you can also have access. So your administrator can have full access to this. You can limit and do different levels of involvement. We have lots and lots. This is just the kind of landing page. But we have, if you look at the top, we have everything from reports and, and trackers to rewards to, we actually do twice a year, we do a drawing for a family of 4. We pay for either Disney or Carnival. So if kids send 10 text messages out, whether they get a single donation or not, if they send 10 text messages out, they're entered to win. And we do that twice a year. We post it. And so it is out there. Our owner feels very strongly that kids should always be incentivized to have just fun things.
Okay, we had a question come in from Jacqueline Wheatley, and you may be familiar with this. Sometimes when we earned scholastic dollars at our book fair, it seemed like the items we could buy were priced higher than normal. And she's asking, what price will we pay at Baker and Taylor?
That's a great question, Jacqueline. So thank you for asking. So it will be the normal list price, just as you would if you were going to Baker and Taylor. We do not do any upcharge on that. Your library processing, normally, I don't know what it is per book right now, but if you do library processing, obviously that is an additional fee. But you'll be able to buy everything from, paperback to hardcover to paper on board, things like that at the normal list price. We don't have, again, any markup like you would if you had, say, a Scholastic Dollars or Tidal Wave, things like that, where they do the percentage differential. So it's just operating just like cash. In fact, we are paying Baker and Taylor directly like that. So, so you have your certain amount that you've earned for the school, and you would just go shopping as you normally would at a Baker and Taylor.
And I think for reference, I do know processing costs vary wildly depending on how much you want. If you want Mylar color covers over your dust jackets, if you want them to be taped, if you want due date card pockets or whatever. So ours was probably, I think, around, it was under $2 a book. Now it's been a little while since I checked on that number. We just usually saw it as part of our price quotes. So I'm guessing then, is it possible to apply those same funds to the processing as well? It's not like the
Absolutely. It's not additional. It just all rolls in, which is really nice.
It's just a slice of your order. Yeah.
Yeah. And you'll be able to build your book cart throughout your entire event. So as funds are coming in, you can be on there shopping and being like, oh, I think this is what I'm going to want today.
Okay.
That's another great question.
That's a fantastic question.
Yeah. Dollars expire. I would love to be able to tell you if they do or not. I have a call with them this next week to walk through that. I am hoping they do not, just because we are actually just paying them for that, and our dollars never expire because we normally are just giving it to you in cash. So that is one I will have to get back to everybody once I have that.
Well, and if you do send it to us, we'll answer it in the comments there. Yeah, hopefully it would be like a gift card situation.
Yeah, well, and it's like I said, I think your funds will just stay there. So I will know that soon. Yes. I apologize.
Thank you, Jacqueline, for amazing questions.
We just had it all finalized this week. This is the first group that even knows that we're going with Baker and Taylor. So
you heard it here first.
Awesome. Right. Exclusive news from Librarians Teach.
Yes. One of the things that really strikes me is, having you handle all of those electronic transactions. I don't know how many hours of my life I've spent counting coins with unknown substances on them.
Oh, yeah. And you feel the stickiness, and then you think, I wonder what that sticky is.
The sweaty dollars.
You're tempted to smell it to say,
never smell it. It's a bad idea, no matter how curious you are.
Yeah, no, the unidentified item on the coins that come in the baggie. Yeah, so that you don't have to do that anymore. This is actually then a hygiene thing too.
Yes. Right. Even like having access to cash, that always made me feel nervous. Like if there would ever be, not an investigation, but if they were ever looking closely at either from your district or from the vendor you're using, would always make me nervous. Like I'm literally handling cash here. Like this is liquid. And that made me a little nervous. So I was always, of course you're going to put things under lock and key, but I never liked that part of it either.
No. And there's a lot of districts, I feel like now, that aren't even, I want to say allowing, but aren't even having staff members because of that. And
have access to petty cash or whatever they call it.
We always say what that sticky wicket that, it's like, what do you do or not? And even with PTAs, I was in PTA for my kids' schools and with our district. And I was nervous even as a PTA parent hosting, because I'd be counting this money and I'm like, well, what if for some reason when I put it in the drawer at night and lock it, if there's ever a discrepancy, that made me nervous. And so this takes that and removes that from the equation. so you don't have to think about it anymore.
Which probably also makes your school treasurer happy too.
Yes, and there's a report that tells you exactly all of the transactions that have been
Yeah.
taken in, so you don't have to worry about that
All of
either.
that.
There's for bookkeeping, it's a really nice way to do it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So, I'm looking here at the comments. I don't think I see any others for the live ones. Of course, again, you can, if you're watching this in replay, you can add comments or questions anyway, and we'll be sure to get back to them.
Absolutely. And people can go to read-a-thon.com. If they want more information, they can email me. It's sdavern at read-a-thon.com. So pretty easy email address too. And then on there also, it has all of our information. We have a lot of testimonials. People come over and start using us, and they stay with us, which we're really pleased about. And that's our best testament to our success is our customers that like us and stay with us. So yes, and you'll be seeing lots of new things. We're really trying to, with, like I said, with Colby, Jack, and Bree, trying to bring them more to the forefront so everybody knows who they are.
I love it.
When I started with the company, I'm like, you have rats as can I call them mice or something?
Yes.
Thon is R-A-T. I'm like, I never thought of a rat as cute, but that is how they came to be. Yeah.
Thank you for joining us today, Stephanie.
Oh, thank you so much. I thoroughly enjoyed the time and just being able to have this chance to share our information and then talk a little bit more to both of you, because you both have been champions for supporting librarians. So it is much appreciated, and it does not go unnoticed. So.
That's great. Well, thank you so much. And yeah, we'll see everyone tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.